The River Between Us. Chapter 1. The Village with Two Names. Long ago, nestled deep in a lush green valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains, there lived two villages, Ilaria and Norwin, divided by a wide, winding river. The river flowed strong and deep, cutting the land in two like a silver blade. Though they shared the same fertile soil, the same sunshine, and the same air, the people of the two villages hadn't spoken to each other for generations. No one remembered exactly what had caused the rift. Some said it was a quarrel over stolen cattle. Others claimed it had something to do with a broken marriage promise between two old families. Whatever the reason, over time, the river became more than just a body of water. It became a symbol of bitterness. The elders warned children never to cross the old stone bridge. They would say, "The other side is full of liars and thieves." Both villages lived in suspicion of one another. Trade was forbidden, conversations were avoided. They built lives on their side of the river as if the other didn't exist. Chapter 2. The Curious Boy. In Ilaria, a curious and kind-hearted 12-year-old boy named Aren lived with his grandmother. His parents had died young, and his grandmother, known as Miri the Weaver, was his only family. Aren loved to sit by the river, throwing pebbles into the water, wondering what life was like on the other side. From his side, Norwin looked like a mirror of Ilaria, green fields, white cottages, and little smoke trails curling into the sky. "Why don't we ever talk to them?" Aren asked one day. "Because some doors, child, once closed, should stay closed," his grandmother replied with a sad look in her eyes. But Aren didn't believe in closed doors. He believed in bridges. One morning, while exploring the far edge of Ilaria near the Forbidden Bridge, Aren saw something that changed his life. A girl about his age on the Norwin side, standing near the river, trying to pull a sheep out of the water. Without thinking, Aren rushed across the bridge. Chapter 3. The Girl with the Red Ribbon. The girl wore a red ribbon in her hair and had the brightest eyes Aren had ever seen. She was struggling, her arms red from the icy water. "Let me help!" he shouted. She startled but didn't refuse. Together they pulled the sheep onto the grass. Both collapsed beside it, breathless and soaked. "Thank you," she said. "I'm Lyra." "I'm Aren." They stared at each other, then at the sheep, then back at each other. And then they laughed. They didn't speak of their villages. They didn't have to. In that moment, they were just two kids who had saved a life. From that day on, Aren and Lyra began to meet secretly at the riverbank. They shared stories, books, drawings, dreams. They even traded items, fruit for honey, thread for a carved whistle. The river no longer seemed like a boundary. To them, it was a place of connection. Chapter 4. The Storm. One summer night, a terrible storm struck the valley. Lightning cracked the sky. Winds howled like wolves, and the river, swollen with rain, surged violently. When morning came, the old stone bridge had collapsed into the water. Aren ran to the river, heart pounding. On the far side, Lyra was there too, both staring helplessly at the shattered remains of their meeting place. They waved, they shouted across the roaring waters. "I'll build another way," Aren promised. But it wouldn't be easy. Chapter 5. The Secret Plan. With trembling hands and a heart full of determination, Aren began working on a raft. He kept it secret from his grandmother, hiding the supplies in a cave near the river. Every day he gathered logs, vines, and scraps. Lyra did the same on her side. After weeks of effort, they finally finished their rafts. One moonlit night, they pushed off into the water. But the river had other plans. Halfway across, Aren's raft broke apart. He was dragged under. He awoke on the riverbank, his grandmother weeping beside him. He had been rescued by none other than the fisherman of Norwin, Lyra's father. The secret was out. Chapter 6. The Anger of the Elders. Both villages were furious. Meetings were called, accusations were flung like arrows. How dare a child cross into Norwin? They could have drowned because of this foolishness. We do not mix with them. But one voice cut through the noise. Miri, Aren's grandmother, stood tall and calm before the angry crowd. "Let me tell you a story," she said, eyes steady. "Many years ago, Two lovers from these villages tried to marry. Their names were Aren of Alaria and Kale of Norwin. But hatred between the villages forced them apart. That girl was me. A silence fell. And the boy? Someone asked. He left, heartbroken. I never saw him again. Aren looked at her in shock. His grandmother had loved someone from Norwin? Hatred gave me nothing but sorrow, Miri said, but my grandson has shown us something braver than hate. He's shown us forgiveness. From the Norwin side, Lyra's father stepped forward. My daughter saved a boy because she saw someone who needed help. That's what I taught her, not where he came from. The crowd grew quiet, and in the silence, a new idea took root. Chapter 7. Building Bridges. Under a sky clear with hope, both villages came together to build not one, but two new bridges. Children from both sides helped paint and decorate them with flowers, colors, and carvings of unity. Aren and Lyra stood side by side, proud. For the first time in over 100 years, the river no longer divided, it united. Trade flourished, friendships bloomed. Even old Miri received a letter from Kale, who had heard of the changes. He lived in a nearby city and still remembered her fondly. Aren smiled as his grandmother wept tears of peace, not sorrow. Epilogue. The moral years. Later, when Aren and Lyra grew up and became teachers, they told the story of the river to children of both villages. They ended with these words. Hatred may be passed down like an old tale, but so can love. Fear may build walls, but courage builds bridges. Never let the mistakes of the past stop you from reaching out your hand. And by the river that once divided, laughter and music now danced across the water.